Well, hello, Cancers. This is your monthly forecast for the month of June 2016. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. First of all, Cancers, let me just tell you, happy birthday to my June-born Cancers at the very end of June. Hope you guys have a great birthday month. And remember that this reading is very general for anyone who is born with their sun sign, moon sign, or rising/ascendant sign in the sign of Cancer. But if you would like a more personalized reading, whether it's just a general reading, whether it is for me to look at something specific that's going on in your life, I would love to help you out. My email address is in the description box below, and if you shoot me an email, I will give you all the details, honey boo boo. Now let's get on with your general reading. Cancers, this month in June, there's going to be two different major focuses going on, okay? You're going to be shifting from, you're going to have major energy shifts pretty much, because you're going to be shifting from wanting to be more reclusive, as if Cancers are not reclusive enough, right? But wanting to be more reclusive and introverted and have a lot of introspect going on, to be wanting to actually get out there and take charge and initiate some things in your life. So how is this going to play out? Let me get technical and nerdy and break it down for you. We're going to have an emphasis on your 12th house. And the 12th house is the last house on the zodiac wheel, on the birth chart wheel. So it's like where planets go to rest and to reflect and to look back on things. And also what you can do is plan ahead during this time for what actions you want to take when the energy shifts into your first house. Now, Gemini is your 12th house. And this month we have the sun there until the 20th. We have a new moon there on the 4th. We have Venus there until the 17th. And we have Mercury there from the 12th on to around the last day or two of the month of June. So there's a big focus and emphasis there. So first of all, the sun being there is like shining a flashlight through this dark, murky, deep house. This is a deep subconscious mind. This is all the things that that have been hidden back there in the back of your mind for maybe even ages, you know, for years. And this can be a very sensitive time, just being completely honest, because the 12th house is associated with the 12th sign on the zodiac wheel, which is Pisces. And Pisces is a fellow water sign of yours, Cancer. Pisces is the deepest water. Like, you're a water sign, you represent maybe like a pond or something, you know. I'm not sure if you can hear the little pond noise going on in the background, but I'm right next to a very little pond on purpose for this Cancer video, because you guys are like a little pond. You got like some fish and some other families in there, you know, of animals, and they just kind of stay there, you know, in this comfortable, small, secluded area. And then Pisces is the last water sign on the zodiac wheel, and it represents the deep oceans, like vast oceans where many species live, and they pick up everything. They can be polluted sometimes and have to have their waters cleared. So when the 12th house is mentioned and involved with your horoscope or with your birth chart, this is like the deepest ocean of emotion. All right, so you guys can feel like, with the sun being there, the sun wants to shine. And when the sun goes into the 12th house, it kind of sinks down into this deep water and it fizzles out. It can't really shine out there to the world. So this is a very reclusive time. But it doesn't have to be negative. You know, Cancers, you're very comfortable and familiar with the energy of being reclusive and staying within your shell and thinking about things and being emotional. Well, this is going to be a little bit more of an enhanced emotional time. But it's a great time for reflection. It doesn't have to be, you know, a crybaby time, although you may cry and shed some tears. There's nothing wrong with that. But it should be about release of the old, because this is the end of a cycle, a yearly cycle for you. So release anything old from the previous year, or even beyond that, you know, further back from that has been disturbing you, Cancer, that has bothered you emotionally. This is the house of also some karma, like past karma. So you may have some past karma issues come up. That sun there is going to shine a flashlight all under that deep water and find all kinds of stuff under there and bring it up to the surface to be addressed. Whether or not this is good or bad or positive or negative or emotional and painful, or, or not emotional and painful, maybe happy memories. It's really up to you and your life and your situation and the rest of your chart, honey. Okay, but generally speaking about the sun in the 12th house, it can be a very sensitive time where you reflect back on a lot of things, but it's a great time to release any pain from your life. So the new moon that we're going to have there is at 14 degrees Gemini on the 4th of June. So we start out the month having this new moon. And new moon means the sun and the moon come together in the same sign, in the same degree, and they give birth to something new. They may take something away to make way for something brand new. So this is in regards to your 12th house. This could be past karma. This could also mean on a more general level and physical world level, like how you sleep and how you relax and how you take care of yourself emotionally and spiritually. So you may come up with a new way that really helps you. Or you may have something that happens or that comes up or that you talk about. It's very healing for you. It's a new method of release, okay? So that's what can happen around this new moon. Venus will also be in this 12th house for you. And Venus represents how you enjoy yourself and what you do in your free time, what pleases your five senses, what makes you feel happy. That's Venus energy. So if it's in the 12th house, well, you may feel like being a little bit more isolated as far as enjoying yourself. 12th house people, they like to do things like stay in and watch movies. The 12th house is about fantasy, like visual art fantasy, including movies. So you may just feel like staying in and watching movies a lot more. And since Venus represents partnerships and relationships, I don't know, if you have a boo thing, maybe you snuggle up with your boo and watch movies and make it a Netflix night or a Hulu night or what have you, But just staying in and being a little bit more isolated to enjoy yourself may be more prominent during this time. But the 12th house also represents divine creativity, like the arts, the fine arts, like music and dance. So a good time to enjoy some things like that, whether inside your home in isolation or outside of it. Get in touch with art and really dive deep into it. Soak in the energy that's going on around you while this art is either displayed in front of you or being acted out in front of you or being performed in front of you. It's a great time to soak all of that beautiful artistic energy in and really bask in it and enjoy it, with Venus being there. On another note, Venus in the 12th house can also mean you got a secret love affair going on, Cancer. So be mindful of that. Don't try to go off into any like sneaky actions where you're having like an affair, and hurting anyone's feelings or anything like that. I do not condone that, okay? But if you would like to have a relationship that is more on the low, so to speak, and you don't really put it out there on social media, which a lot of Cancers, they're very private people anyway, but this is going to make you more private in regards to relationships during this time. If you do start a relationship, you meet someone, it's more private, you don't really put it out there. So until the 12th of June, Mercury will still be behind the rest of the planets and still be in the sign of Taurus. He will be completely out of shadow, thank God, around the 5th of June. So around this time, Mercury is going to come out of shadow in your 11th house of friendships. So you may have been even more of a Cancer, even more in your shell, hiding from your friends while Mercury was retrograde there. Or it could have been the opposite. Maybe with Mercury retrograde in your 11th house, you could have had more old friends pop up and want to spend time with you and pop up and want to talk to you. So that could have been a good thing happening during that time. But once Mercury is out of shadow, moving forward, proceed with talking and hanging out with friends, communicating with them, joking with them, or what have you. So on the 12th, Mercury catches up with the other planets and goes into Gemini. And this is your 12th house. So you may not be as communicative with your friends. You may disappear for a while. Your friends might say, hey, Cancer, you've been coming around and, actually getting out and hanging out with us. And then you're going to go back into your shell and back into seclusion just for a little while, because Mercury rules the mind. And your mind might be more like, wanting to be introspective, retrospective, go within and think about really deep things, important things, think about the past, and maybe have a chance to work on some past issues. You'll just be really thinking a lot, more quiet, more introverted. So hanging out with friends, the energy is going to shift there after that. Now for the good stuff. Woo! So Cancer, on the 20th, the sun moves into Cancer, into your sign, into your first house. Whenever the sun is in the first house, or AKA, it's in your sign, this is a great time to have an energy boost because all that 12th house stuff can be so draining. I mean, while the sun was there, you could have been even more physically drained and sleeping a lot more because the 12th house, I forgot to mention, it also rules sleep and dreams. So while the 12th house energy is going on, maybe pay attention to your dreams. They may have some messages for you. I would recommend that. But once the energy shifts to the first house, it's time to wake up, honey. Come on, Cancer, get up. Get some goals set and get them, like, charge at them head first, because the first house relates to the sign of Aries. Aries is the ram. They rule the head. They have horns. They charge at things head first. Get them done. Get them knocked out. So if there's anything in your life that you want to feel recharged enough to conquer, this is the time to do it. So a couple days before that, on the 17th, Venus moves into your sign of Cancer. So Venus is in your first house. And like I tell everybody every month, whenever Venus moves into your sign in your first house, it is like you are wearing Venus's beautiful cloak, or you're bathed in Venus energy, and you are walking around with little sparkles shimmering all over you. You're really, really shining out there in a very Venusian way. You may feel more beautiful, or if you don't feel beautiful, you're going to do something about it, Cancer. You're going to want to get your hair done, your nails done, get a haircut if you're a guy, go shopping, guy or girl. You're going to want to maybe buy more makeup, buy more grooming products, buy clothes. I mean, this is the time that you're going to feel good about your appearance, or if you don't, you're going to want to make sure that you do. So enjoy that Venus energy. And on the 29th, Mercury shifts into the sign of Cancer. So this is three of the main planets that are called personal planets that are closest to the earth and really affect your personality, all moving into your sign. So this is really the time to wake up, especially Mercury going into your sign. It rules the mental processes. So when it's in the first house, it really wants to take action and take charge, and you will be thinking fast, talking fast, moving fast, walking fast. You'll just have the urge to just want to get things done, and you'll want to do a lot of things at once, okay? And Cancers, you're a little bit of a slower moving sign because you're very emotional, and the way that you do things is not always bam, head first, let's just take action, son, come on. Cancers are not really like that, generally speaking. But during this time, your mind is going to want to be like that. I would say be very careful not to come off as being too bossy, too authoritative, if you're not in a position to be that way, that is. If you are, then this will give you an extra boost that you can really utilize to the most positive of its potential. But yeah, try not to be too bossy, okay? Because you will be thinking I am the boss, honey, and I look good, and all of you are below me. Move out of my way, peasants. Go do something for me. Go get to work. Your mental processes will be like that, okay? The only other thing that I would warn you about is trying to do too many things at once with this Mercury moving into your first house and not getting anything accomplished because your mind is just so scattered and all over the place. So just be mindful of that. But being able to process thoughts and get things done very quickly is going to be your advantage the rest of June. Mars, the planet of action, drive, aggression, it moved back into your 5th house at the end of May, okay? May 26th is when it moved back into the sign of Scorpio. That is your 5th house. That is your house of children, of creative arts and talents. It's of hobbies, sports and things like that, creative hobbies. It's if you have your own business that you started from the ground up and that you take care of. That's also the 5th house. It's also casual, romantic dating, if that's something you're open to. Well, let's get the bad out of the way, Cancer, because I know you guys can kind of dwell on the bad sometimes, okay? Now, the negative manifestations of this energy, I should say, instead of bad, is there's a possibility that maybe an old flame can come back into your life, and because this is a retrograde motion that's going on, so it means bringing things back. So an old flame can come back. You may have some things that you need to address with them, some challenges that maybe you guys had in the past that, here's a chance to bring them up again and address them and get them resolved and out of the way, hopefully without any conflicts. This can also mean conflicts with your children challenging you. They can put up a challenge to where you need to implement more discipline or whatever. There could be some more challenges that come up within your own business, if you own your own business, that you need to tackle and get over that hump That way you can continue on with your business. Now, the positives can be maybe your children become more active again, back into like some summer activities, maybe like an activity that they were involved in the past. There's an opportunity that comes back because this is retrograde going back, and you get them involved in that again, or they express an interest again. Or it could be your own hobbies that maybe you had before and you kind of left them behind, but now here's Mars in your fifth saying, let's get some action going with these hobbies, Cancer. So those are just a few scenarios that can happen with this energy. Now, Mars goes direct in the sign of Scorpio at 23 degrees on June 29th. And from there, just a little sneak peek into the future, Mars will continue to be in the sign of Scorpio until August 2nd. Then it'll move into Sagittarius. So from now until August, you have all of this fifth house energy highlighted with Mars being there. Once we get to your June horoscopes, I will definitely dive more deeper into that because it will be forward at that time. There is a full moon this month, of course, like there is every month, and it's in the sign of Sagittarius. It's going to be at 29 degrees Sagittarius, and this is in your sixth house. Now, the 29th degree is the very last degree of a sign. And if you can remember last month in May, we had a very intense full moon in Sagittarius then as well. But it was at 1 degree. It was at the very beginning of the sign. And it was in a tight conjunction with Mars. Action, aggression, and war, right? Whew, with both of them being in a fire sign, I mean, this was very, very like a heated energy for you. Very, very heated. This is very feisty energy. So if with it being in your sixth house, a few things could have happened and been brought to light with that last full moon. It could have been a job issue. Maybe some Cancers just got heated and said, F this, I'm out of this place. You're cool, F you, you're cool, I'm out. Some Cancers could have had a moment like that last month. Or it could have been just needing to take more action within the workplace, like some issues that come up, some problems to resolve, some conflicts in the workplace. Now, the 29th degree full moon this month, which is happening on the 20th, the day that the sun goes into Cancer as well. So the sun going into your sign is very fiery and action-oriented, as I already explained. And then this 29 degree full moon in a fire sign in your work house. This tells me for you Cancers that there can be something that needs to be completed as far as actions when it comes to work and also health too. Maybe a health issue flared up with the last full moon in May, and then this full moon is a chance for you to get it corrected and get it calmed down and taken care of, so you can move on with your life. Or it could have been that maybe you applied for jobs, you took all this action with the last full moon to get your resume out there and things like that. And then with the 29 degree full moon this month, it's completing the process. So you finally get called and hired for a job. So those are just a couple of scenarios that can happen with this full moon. I am so sorry, my Cancer people. I had to move locations because there was some rude city worker that had the nerve to start cleaning the street right where I was filming. Can you believe that? Anyway, just to finish up the monthly forecast for you for June. What else I was going to tell you about before I was rudely interrupted was Chiron and Neptune going retrograde in the sign of Pisces in your ninth house starting this month. So Neptune goes retrograde at 12 degrees on the 13th of June, and then Chiron goes retrograde at 25 degrees on the 27th of June. Being in your ninth house, since these planets are retrograde, there can be some things brought back up as far as not seeing clearly as far as like reality when it comes to your spirituality, maybe questioning your spirituality again, or maybe going back over your beliefs, your belief systems, whatever they may be, whether it be like spiritual, religious, or political, or anything like that. Just your higher minded beliefs. Also, it's an opportunity to heal from anything from the past that in regards to ninth house matters, because Chiron is the asteroid or planetoid that's nicknamed the wounded healer. So wherever he transits, he gives you an opportunity to heal from any old wounds that you may have suffered in that area of life. And also Neptune is a very healing planet too, because Neptune is like that hippie, the ultimate hippie that just wants to love and hug everyone, and it's like, I just want everything to be okay, and they have a lot of healing power. So that's Neptune, a lot of healing power there, a lot of compassion. So anything that has to do with the ninth house, retrograde, going back over those things. Unfortunately, that does mean that, like I said, some things could come up again, okay, that may be painful. Like maybe you were hurt in regards to your beliefs at a young age. Maybe you were forced into a religion growing up, but it didn't resonate with you, and it left like a bad mark on you, like a scar in some sort of way emotionally. So that may be brought back up again. Just a little example of that. All right, Cancer. Well, that is it for your monthly forecast for June. Don't forget to subscribe if you would like to continue receiving these free monthly forecasts from me. And also, shoot me an email. It's in the description box if you would like anything a little more personal as far as an astrological analysis. That sounds so smart, doesn't it? Just kidding. All right, guys. Well, have a great month. Have a great birthday. And I will see you guys in July for more Cancer season. Mwah. Peace.